Good evening. I'd like to call to order the September 5th, 2015 meeting of the Town of Manchester Planning and Zoning Commission. First item on the agenda is the approval of the June 16th, 2015 minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approved. Thank you. Reports, town.
Okay, I got a couple things. It's time to start the comprehensive plan update again. And, they went to a 10-year, you don't have to do it till 10 years, but there's a 5-year mandatory requirement now that for an annual 5-year report. So at the same time, we've decided we're gonna go through the full comp update since there are some municipal growth properties we wanna add to our municipal growth area. So I have given you a copy of the contract and a little bit of a timeline and things that we want to try to hit. I just made copies again of all the comp plan, because I'm not sure if you guys have your copies anymore, but I will be getting them out to you so you have something to work with, or work on. Manchester Farms, Section 7, they are almost complete their grading. They're supposed to be starting their installation of their sewer and water lines. And I believe the drain is done, going down to the stormwater management. That's complete. The other issue, I have rental housing is coming up for renewal again at the end of this year for their 2-year. We'd like to do a little work on the rental housing regulations. And we wanted to use the board that we have, the appeals board, but we are missing a P&Z member. So I need somebody from planning and zoning to volunteer to help me out on the rental housing. I got my BZA member and my council person, but not P&Z. I did approach, I don't know if I sent you guys all an email or not, but I did talk to Bob. He just didn't have the time for it.
Okay.
And I think that's everything I got for you.
You need just one member from the board? Okay.
On the MV7, when do they think they're gonna tear up the road to put the piping in, or is that being done now? I haven't driven back
what's
there.
done.
That's being completed,
what they're
right?
doing.
That's
Yeah,
pretty much
they had most of the road closed off the other day.
Right, and also the water taps have been made on both sides, both Susan and Southwestern. So they're going to wait till the athletic fields are clear, and then they're gonna be running the water main across the field.
Okay.
That's probably, I think that's slated for sometime in November, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Steve, do you have anything you want to add?
Just two quick things. One item Michelle alluded to was the rental housing, and we're doing a complete workup on our code, sections of our code that seem outdated to us, and we've been working on that for the last several months, and we're getting very close to sending that off to our attorney to massage that a little bit. So we're going to take care of that. And also the other item, the council approved our new town hall and police station last Tuesday night, $2.1 million. We're going to be using a general contractor. They're out of Chambersburg, Breachville and Hellman. They've done numerous jobs around the Carroll County area. They have a good backing, good background, so we're pretty happy about that. So that process is moving along. Just to refresh your memory a little bit, we're going to be moving our museum from down in the basement upstairs. We were able to receive a grant to install a new ADA entrance to this building for the museum. And then, of course, the police department, which is now in the old 4-bay garage out back, that's going to be moving to the new facilities. And then that room, or that building, will become available for HOA meetings, nature center meetings, Boy Scout meetings, anything like that. So that's our plan. Hopefully we'll break ground here in several weeks, get moving on that project. That's it.
Great. Dale, anything you want to add?
Yeah, just a couple things, because we didn't meet in August. At the August council meeting, we briefly discussed some personnel policy changes, taking a look at some some housekeeping items, some things just in the best interest of staff. Something that you may see, some citizens came forward talking about chickens and taking a look at our ordinance to make it easier for people within town to have chickens. So that's sparked a lot of conversation, so that may come to planning and zoning at some point, so just a heads up.
So we have to dodge them on Black Rock
Yeah.
Road and
Right.
Dale, welcome as our new member from the
Oh,
council.
thank
Glad
you.
to have you.
At the September meeting, Commissioner Wentz came by again just to give us a brief update, and it's very refreshing to see that he's kept his word. He said, I will stop in periodically, and he's done that. A couple things he had mentioned, among many, was that there will be a second meeting of the Not for Carroll Drug Summit on September 10th. That was good news. And he wanted to assure the town that Route 30 bypass around Manchester is still on the radar. You know, that's a big challenge, but he said it hasn't been forgotten. As Steve had mentioned, we talked about the council had voted to go forward with plans for the new building. The only thing still being discussed is financing, taking a look at how we want to do that. And then finally, based on new national flood insurance program criteria, the town must meet these requirements and has put together a joint resolution between Carroll County Commissioners and the town to do that. And I think that's it for me.
Very good, thank you. Bobby, how are you?
I am good.
What do you have for us from over in Westminster?
I am passing out a copy of this year's priority letter. I like to give the members of the Planning Commission a copy of this.
Thank
This goes
you.
out every year, and we send it to the mayors and council members of all of our towns, but I like our Planning Commission members to also have a copy. And good evening.
Good evening, good to see you.
This is our Carroll County's annual priority letter. This is basically a list of the top priority transportation projects throughout the county. This year's letter is a little different from the priority letter in years past. We've streamlined the list of projects. We were getting advice from State Highway that rather than have a kind of a lengthy laundry list of priority projects, to really narrow it down to the few most important projects for the county. So for highway projects, our three top priority projects are Maryland 32, that's from Liberty Road, Maryland 26 South to the Carroll County line. And we're working with Howard County basically to get it all the way down to I-70, because that's really the terminus that makes sense. Maryland 97, north of 140, basically from 140 to Pleasant Valley Road. And Liberty Road, Maryland 26, from 32, Sykesville Road, east to Liberty Reservoir. We're also noting that we have three Main Street projects, Hampstead, New Windsor, and Sykesville, that are in various stages. In fact, Hampstead is going to be under construction shortly, and we still need funding to get construction for the New Windsor and the Sykesville projects. We've added a transit project for the Trailblazer system, the future transit hub. That's new in this year's letter. We carried over the two most important trail projects in the county. That's the in the Freedom Sykesville area, the Governor Brown Trail, and the Bennett Surf Park Trail Extension Westminster Community Trail in the Westminster area. And then toward the end of the letter, we also make note to Maryland Department of Transportation that there are some other projects that are still very important to us that we want to remain on the radar screen. And probably of most interest to Manchester is the Maryland 30 study, to look at what are the causes of congestion and come up with some recommendations of how to handle the congestion on Main Street, Maryland 30 through Manchester. So again, this is our annual priority letter. I just want to get you all a copy so you're aware of you know, where we're coming from with respect to the state Maryland Department of Transportation. And it's my understanding for next year's letter, we're going to actually get started earlier in the year. So I may be getting you the copy of the 2016 annual priority letter earlier in the year. Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Sure, go ahead.
Along 27 over in the Mount Airy area or Liberty Road, all the tear up that they've been doing in land pipe, what is that, gas, water, or what?
It's not water, I believe it is gas. I can't remember if it's propane or natural gas, but it's a gas
Natural
line.
gas line.
This is natural gas.
Natural gas line, thank you.
Okay, and they're running that clear to Mount Airy? Or is it coming from Mount Airy? Oh, Mount Airy to Westminster.
And for a good stretch along 27 north of Mount Airy, it's on the east side of, and paralleling 27.
Right. Yeah, well, I know I've been stopped so many times and waiting.
I tell you, when you get stuck in one of those stops, it takes a while for your side to get going. Yeah, exactly.
I just have a quick question. Sure. I noticed in the back, all the commissioners signed, which was wonderful. It says under the Carroll County delegation, I noticed there's several missing signatures. Is that just because you were unable to get them? They chose not to support it?
I think in a few cases, we couldn't, we were under a bit of a timeline and we couldn't get them quickly enough. In fact, the last page is a little odd. That is electronic signature. But it's still indicating that Delegate Afzali, and I hope I pronounced that right, did sign off on the letter. And there was at least one member who was not interested in signing.
Interesting. Very good. All's
Alrighty.
well, I take it?
Busy, but yes.
Good, good.
And I for one, am definitely enjoying this weather.
Yes.
I just hope it continues, because I know the cold is coming soon enough, around the corner.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, on to tonight's main agenda, item 4, Haley Hill Lot 46 subdivision preliminary. Michelle, you want to start this one off?
Yeah, I thought
Please.
I have given you the majority of the comments. We have received, I'm pretty sure, all the preliminary comments. I gave you a list of the comments that came from the office with regards to water and sewer in
Right.
your packets. Then today I gave you a copy of the letter that came back from their engineer answering those particular questions. They are on the new revised plans, which you'll see the next time before we give it final. So I don't have any other comments for you. I think we've gotten them all.
So you're in the process of revising the plan based on these county comments. I mean, I reviewed the comments. It seemed like the primary comments were coming from grading.
Yeah, Linda Alexander with CLSI. We had basically 3 agencies that commented besides the town.
Right.
Mainly the grading were the comments. Those comments have been addressed and were resubmitted to the county last week.
Okay.
So at this point, there's no outstanding comments for us to, a matter of fact, we even got another approval last week, and then Jim had said that the health department, actually, their approval letter came today. So we don't anticipate any other comments coming through. We anticipate it's just a matter of it going through their attrition to get to it, to give us the approval, and we're asking for preliminary plan approval. I mean, they reviewed everything on a preliminary plan basis. Okay?
Yeah, because I guess the one comment they had, their biggest concern was they didn't want to see runoff going on the lot 47.
That's correct. So we did have to do some changes. I do have revised plans with me that if you wanted to see the changes we
Did you
made.
end up putting a swale along the?
We ended up
the
putting a
use and
swale.
common?
We ended up moving the use in common over some and putting a swale on it to keep any runoff from going downstream off-site. Okay?
Yeah, that was my primary concern, not to impact lot 47.
Yeah, and right now, all the drainage is basically going to that swale and then coming down into the roadway
Okay.
and off the lots.
The one concern I had, this might be addressed, the 335 feet and use in common, I think that, it's saying that there might be an appeal needed. It's saying it's 311 feet, site distance.
Oh, the site
Yeah,
distance, we
exactly.
remeasured the site distance, okay? And the site distance The original measurement was from the other side of the lot, like the uphill side of the lot.
Okay.
When you measure it from where we have the use in common now, okay, there, we have adequate site distance both directions to meet the county site distance along that roadway.
Okay.
Which,
don't-
on the revised plans, it shows that.
Alright. So we're not looking into any kind of waivers there.
No, no.
And then I didn't understand the part, and I might not need to, but the part about the egress, ingress at 20 feet, and the driveway is also 20 feet. Do you remember that comment? Or maybe Henry can.
The driveway is actually not 20 feet wide. The easement is 20 feet
Right.
wide. The driveway is only 12 feet.
Okay,
So I think they were, when you looked at the way it was dimensioned, I think they were mistaking the dimension. We kind of moved the dimension on the
Right.
revised plans. They were mistaken the dimension of the driveway. It was not 20 feet. It's only 12 feet wide.
okay, because it's a double. Isn't that what, the double driveway?
Yeah, but with the use in common, it's only 12 feet wide.
Okay,
But it does have a strip back to it. I mean, it has the panhandle, that they own 20 feet, but the driveway itself is only
Right.
12 feet. Yes.
Everybody has access to the public road.
Correct, yes.
and the turnaround was addressed?
Yes, we made a larger turnaround. We moved that that house and allowed for a larger, I guess you want to say, when they back out of their when they back out of their garage, a little bit of more of
Okay.
a sweeping area for them to back out.
And that's that rear one? No, the rear's coming in from the other side.
Correct,
That's
it's
the
it's
middle.
it's
That's
the middle one
house.
back, yes.
Okay,
And of course, they're the only lot back there. It's not like anybody else has to get past them on like
Right.
some of the other locations, so they have that whole back area.
right.
And Steve, you satisfied with the water and sewer?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like there was any major,
We had one simple question and that was answered.
okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any other questions from the commission? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we grant preliminary plan approval for the Howley Hill Lot 46 subdivision.
Second?
Okay, a motion on the floor, seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so passed. Michelle, any other items on the agenda that you want to add? Very good.
The
Hold
rental,
on a minute.
the rental changes,
I
do
got
they
it,
have
I
to
got
come
it.
in front of the board again, once you take them to Michelle? Are we gonna, do we have to have public hearing, or are you making that many changes?
That is part of the,
That would be, that would go before the mayor and the council for approval.
Okay, all right,
no, we get the chickens.
we get the chicken. It's gonna be an
We get the
issue at
chickens.
$3,
Mayor
at
and
$3
council
a
get them.
dozen, I've been looking at chicken houses myself.
Really?
Sir, you had a question? Yeah. Come up to the microphone, please.
I'm Wendell Sisler. I live on Shore Mill Drive. I pretty much know everybody here. I have one question for you. I want it to be noted that the clearing and all the excavation and everything that they're doing behind my house for the new development for Suzanne Drive, and I think it's a Bob Ward development, they've dynamited twice. And I mean, the dynamite scared a ton of people. Scared me, and I was even notified that they were going to do it. They didn't say when. It's just it shook the whole house. A couple things fell off the shelves. And my concern is, if I end up with a water leak from one of my pipes coming from the road in, due to this, anytime real soon, I want it to be noted that the dynamite caused it. I mean, the two times they've done it, the girl across the street from me, she has children, she was scared to death. She called me and said, "Did your house shake?" You know, I said, "Yeah, I know what it is," but I wasn't expecting it either. You know, I didn't know it was going to happen at that time. But they've dynamited twice, and maybe it's necessary, I don't know, but I think they should have a little more precaution telling people and take the liability of any damage it does to anybody's house. Because, like I said, it rocked my house, and I've been in equate when they had a real earthquake, and it was no difference, no difference. And the other thing I wanted to do is that the dust that we're eating down there, I think could be controlled a little better if they'd wet that thing down before they bulldoze and cause all that dust, because we've been eating dirt for some time, and it's red clay dirt. Our houses are just, it's in the windows, it's in the windowsills, it's all over. I mean, I've had to hose my house down several times now, and I don't think it's right. I see a truck down there that looks like a water truck, but they're not using it. And I think they ought to be made to use it before they create all this dirt. And that's basically what I wanted to say, okay?
I have a response,
Thank you.
Wendell. I did speak to Robert last week, maybe the beginning of last week, because we had a day that it was really, really bad dust out there, that he needed to start watering more. So hopefully you're gonna see, I know they're about finished, but they weren't doing it enough. So I did get a hold of him. As far as the blasting, and I have a contact and I can send it to you, Abel, is doing the blasting for, I forget what entity, but they sent an email saying if anybody has any concerns or anything that you think may have happened due to this, there's a contact directly with
Okay.
the people who are doing the blasting. So, I can give you that also.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because like I say, it rocked the house. It was not something that you just felt distantly. It was a big shake, and a couple things fell off the shelf, and that's scary, when they do that. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
And there's some laws, regulations associated with blasting. I guess they're meeting all the requirements.
I believe someone had mentioned that Michelle was told they did have their seismograph set up out there, and it was well within the limits. I can't answer, I'm just, telling you what we've
If they're
heard.
within their limits.
Yeah,
Michelle, do we know if they're gonna need to do any more blasting out there, or
can't answer that, we can find out.
could you contact on just behalf of the residents, and if they are, maybe you could suggest to them that they be a little more cognizant of notifying the residents when this activity is
Should
going to
be
happen,
some better
just as a common
communication.
courtesy to the
Yeah.
people in the neighborhood.
I mean, I've been involved in some blasting on different projects, and, if it shook the house and things fell off the shelf,
Yeah,
that's not right.
That's close quarters.
no, especially
It is close
when they're
quarters.
told it's gonna happen, but they're not really told
Yeah.
when it's gonna happen. I mean, if
Right.
they could somewhat prepare for it, it would make it a little easier, especially with families that have young
Give us,
kids.
give us an idea.
Yeah.
What did they blast for out there at this point? Just the water?
I guess they hit some rock
Yeah,
coming through
bedrock.
there for the grading.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing the grading.
They didn't hit them out to the sewer.
Yeah.
It's a tough
they're gonna-
lot.
Yeah, when they get it.
Yeah.
Storm drain, the sewer. Yeah, we'll make some calls.
Very well. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll go 3 for 3, I'll make a motion.
I was gonna wait.
Planning and Zoning Commission meeting be adjourned.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.